What's worse than Karen? Vegan Karen. When I first joined the company, I thought I had landed in one of the best workplaces imaginable. It wasn't glamorous, but the people were friendly, the workload was manageable, and the office had this cozy rhythm that made even the busiest days tolerable. Every Friday, someone would bring in donuts or breakfast sandwiches, and on birthdays, we'd order pizza or Chinese food. We weren't a bunch of party animals, but food was the glue that kept us close. Sharing meals made the workday easier, and it helped new people feel welcome. And then came Karen. At first, we didn't know what hit us. She was friendly enough during the interview process, but once she settled in, her true personality came out. Karen was vegan, and being vegan wasn't the problem. No one cared if she wanted to live on kale and lentils. More power to her. The problem was that she needed everyone else to live like her, too. The first incident happened on her second week. A group of us were in the break room, eating breakfast sandwiches. She walked in, took one look at the bacon on my plate, and wrinkled her nose. "Do you know how many animals had to die for you to enjoy that corpse?" she asked loudly. The room went silent. I laughed it off, thinking she was joking. "Well, it's tasty," I said, trying to lighten the mood. She didn't smile. "That's disgusting," she snapped, grabbing her vegan yogurt from the fridge and plopping down at the far end of the table. From then on, it became routine. Every time someone ate meat, dairy, or anything that wasn't plant-based, Karen would comment, "That's carcinogenic. Milk is literally liquid pus. Do you even realize the environmental impact of that burger?" She wasn't sharing her lifestyle. She was shaming ours. At first, we tried ignoring her, but she didn't stop. She doubled down. Whenever we had team lunches, Karen would loudly protest. If we ordered pizza, she'd accuse us of being lazy carnists. When we had barbecue in the summer, she told our boss that we were promoting cruelty. Worse, she started sabotaging things. Once, someone brought cupcakes to celebrate a promotion. Karen secretly threw out half of them because they had buttercream frosting. Another time, she replaced the office creamer with almond milk without telling anyone. It wasn't just annoying, it was hostile. The moment everything changed came on a Friday morning. I had brought in breakfast burritos for the team. Egg, cheese, sausage, the works. Everyone was excited, grabbing plates and thanking me. Karen walked in, took one look, and exploded. "This is disgusting!" "You're poisoning everyone with your animal carcass burritos," she yelled. I tried to stay calm. "Karen, no one's forcing you to eat it. There's fruit in the fridge if you want." But she wasn't having it. She stomped over to the table, grabbed one of the burritos, and threw it in the trash. That was it. Everyone stared at her in shock. My breakfast that I paid for, that I brought to share, she had just thrown away. I clenched my jaw. "Karen," I said slowly, "you've crossed a line." She scoffed. "No. You crossed a line by bringing corpses into this office. Someone has to stand up for what's right." That's when the idea hit me. If she wanted to be the loudest voice in the room, fine. I'd make sure everyone heard the one thing she didn't want them to know. You see, Karen wasn't nearly as pure as she pretended to be. I had noticed things. She wore leather shoes, expensive ones. I knew because she bragged about the brand during her first week. She also drove a gas-guzzling SUV, something that didn't exactly scream eco-warrior. But the real kicker? One evening, I ran into her at the grocery store. And guess what I saw in her cart? A frozen pepperoni pizza. I didn't say anything at the time, but I never forgot it. I knew she was a hypocrite. I just needed a way to prove it. The opportunity came during our quarterly office party. We had a tradition, a big catered lunch, usually Italian or Mexican food, and then a little award ceremony for employee achievements. Karen had already been campaigning for the meal to be fully vegan. She sent long emails to HR, lectured the office manager, and even cornered our boss in the hallway. But thankfully, the majority ruled, and we got Italian with a mix of options, vegan dishes included. I made sure to sit near her table. As soon as the food arrived, she started her usual rant. "Look at all this cruelty," she said, glaring at the chicken parmesan. It's embarrassing that we're still supporting this barbaric industry. I bit my tongue and waited, because I knew Karen wouldn't be able to resist. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, after most people had eaten and the party atmosphere had relaxed, I caught her sneaking to the buffet table. She glanced around, then quickly grabbed a slice of cheese pizza and slid it onto her plate. I pulled out my phone. Snap! Photo taken. Then she did it again. This time, a slice of pepperoni. Snap. Photo taken. I didn't say anything right away. Patience was key. When the award ceremony began, everyone gathered around. Our boss gave a little speech about teamwork and camaraderie. Karen, of course, was standing front and center, smiling like she owned the place. And that's when I made my move. When my name was called for most helpful teammate, I walked up, accepted my little plaque, and then cleared my throat. Before I sit down, I said loudly, I just want to thank everyone for making this a great workplace. We may not all agree on everything, but at least we're honest about who we are. Then, without missing a beat, I turned to Karen. Speaking of honesty, Karen, I think the office deserves to know how much you enjoyed that pepperoni pizza earlier. The room went silent. All eyes turned to her. What are you talking about? She snapped, her face turning red. I held up my phone. This. And I showed the photos. Gasps erupted. People whispered. Karen's jaw dropped as the images circulated from phone to phone. Her holier-than-thou mask cracked in real time. Karen stammered, trying to defend herself. I was just testing it, to prove how gross it was. But no one believed her. Not after months of preaching, shaming, and sabotaging. Laughter broke out. One coworker clapped sarcastically. Another muttered, "Hypocrite!" Karen's eyes welled with tears. She grabbed her purse and stormed out of the room. From that day on, her reign was over. She tried to salvage her reputation, but no one listened anymore. Every time she opened her mouth to criticize someone, they'd just smirk and say, "Like that pizza, Karen?" Within 3 months, she transferred to another department. Word was she didn't last long there either. The office went back to normal after she left. Friday breakfasts returned. Team lunches were fun again. The atmosphere felt lighter, freer. Sometimes when I see someone eyeing my bacon sandwich, I half expect a lecture. But then I remember the look on Karen's face when her hypocrisy was exposed, and I smile. Vegan Karen had made herself the loudest voice in the room, but in the end, her own actions drowned her out. And honestly, watching her crumble under the weight of her own lies was the sweetest justice of all. Like and subscribe. Share if this happened to you or someone you know.